Hi everyone, welcome to the day 4 of a 5-day workshop on how to build organization culture. And today I am going to talk about how to build the culture of work from home. I am sure all of you feel that this video is a little late because everybody is now very accustomed to work from home. Well, I think that was the need of the hour. We had no choice but to start working from home when this pandemic and lockdown happened. But for organizations, now it is an avenue for them to explore how to build it as a culture. So I was reading this news, I think it was yesterday or maybe today, to this morning. There's this organization which is offering all of their employees to work from home permanently. Look at that. Permanently working from home. The question of work-life balance, I think that's going to be addressed there very, very easily. But to address it, there are a few actions that the organizations also has to take. Number one, when you design the goals for your teams or your team members, keep in mind that they also have a personal life. And I am sure these goals are such that you want them to work because you have a bigger organization goal to meet. I completely understand that. But what I'm trying to tell you here is that when you design that goal, go back to that individual every week or every fortnight and ask about how are they doing on their goals. Instead of having a daily review at 10:30 or 11 or 12 or 5 in the evening on a call where you're talking about what happened yesterday, how to plan for the next day. Try and keep it short and try and keep it as one weekly or a one fortnightly call. That will help that individual to feel that you're not micromanaging as well. So it will help that individual to understand that you're macro-managed and you have liberty or you have advantage to take actions the way you want to take. Look at that. Similarly, if this person would have been working from a workplace or an office, do you think you would have gone back to the person every day to ask a project update? May or may not, because the person would have been working right in front of your eyes anyway. Similarly, imagine this person is working right in front of your eyes and this person is absolutely accountable. Yes, where there is a question on accountability, you have all the rights to go back and deal the situation the way you want to deal the best with. Number two, so let's say now the goals are designed, the person is working efficiently. Now, when you start measuring somebody's performance, as we discussed yesterday also, how do you ensure that you keep this employee motivated? Because if this person was at workplace, you would have given a thank you card or a say star or any certificate of appreciation. But if this person is away, how do you keep these people motivated? So if you like somebody's work, and I'm sure this is again going to lead to some more cost of your operations, try to send a few chocolates or a goodie or a pen or whatever souvenir that you think, not a souvenir but a token of appreciation that you think is appropriate for this person to receive. Maybe a written note with your hands could help. That would help you to build a strong connect with your team and your team members. They will feel that you are, even if you are miles away, you are watching them do their best and you acknowledge that, you respect their contribution. Now once this is done, there would be time when you would do the performance appraisal because this is going to last longer. I've just spoken about an organization which is going to offer all of their employees to work permanently. So considering this is going to last longer, you would also do performance reviews. Now when you do performance reviews, remember there was a parameter where you were assessing somebody's time at work. So if the shift is for 9 hours or 10 hours, you would go back to this MIS data and find out whether this person had spent 8 hours or 9 hours in a day. But in the case of work from home, imagine that when you were texting this individual at 5 in the evening or 6 in the evening to say, hey, you know what, this is urgent for me, can you do it right now? And considering this person had already worked for 8 or 9 hours of his work day, but because this was urgent, this person chose to help you at that point in time. So when this person was helping, he or she had put in more hours. Do you really think there's a point to go back to find out how many number of hours you spent in a day when you're working from home? Because practically there is no count. Nobody is going to be able to justify the number of hours they've spent for work at their home. And I was speaking to my cousin yesterday that we spoke that these guys are spending more hours, at home for work as compared to they were spending at their workplace. Because at workplace there was this stipulated time, so you sign in at 10 in the morning and you leave at 7 in the evening, then you come back, you have some time with your family. Still you have a laptop on, but there is an opportunity for you to spend more time with the family as well. And there was dedicated time for work as well. But while assessing somebody's performance, I think you have to come up with a very smart mechanism to understand the time they have spent on work hours. The last but not the least, so when this performance appraisal is happening and you're discussing all of these situations which are parameters to assess, a final rating is given to an individual. And that final rating is very important considering this person was working from home. What happened during the year as an employee's contribution that you have attained as an organization? So what was the contribution? You would classify that in some terms. But as an organization, what did you do for that employee in that 1 year? List those down as well. Look at how many times did you check with this individual, is he doing fine? Or is he or she in need of help? Or anything that you think was relevant for this person. Not by sending laptops or desktops for people to work from their home is the only option where you say, oh, people are working from home and we have happy staff. I have to quote this example, guys. There was this person I was speaking to about 2 months ago, and this person mentioned to me that there were packets of chips, cookies, chocolates that was sent by this person's immediate manager to this person's home, and that was this token of appreciation. That was a token of thank you, to say that you're doing excellent job. Had I been in your place, I may not have been able to do it. That's how you appreciate. And that again goes back to my yesterday's video where we talked about appreciation and feedback extensively. So working from home has opened a lot of avenues for us to explore, to understand how do we respect each other's time, respect each other's privacy, appreciate each other, and build it as a healthy culture. When I say healthy culture, I'm talking about a culture that is adaptable very easily for everybody around us. And we talk about biasness all this while. If you are biased in the situation where people are working from home at this point in time, I don't think you are doing justice to the performance. Because somebody has a child to take care of, and in the morning hours the person is spending more time with the little one, and then starting to work from say 12 or 1 in the afternoon, but working till 10 o'clock, does not mean that you demean somebody's performance, or you say, you are not on time. Consider these aspects, that these are real life situations. You are not dealing with machines, you're dealing with people here. And at the same time, people who are given these opportunities to work from home, they should also respect this opportunity for all of them to work from home. So I was speaking to this cousin of mine who works with a very prestigious organization in the UK, and she mentioned that she has a room which she would lock herself in at about 9 o'clock in the morning, and she would open the room at 7 in the evening. That's how she was managing work from home. But I'm not asking you to do that. Do whatever is suitable to you. But as an organization, to build a culture, the most important thing that you should never forget is that you're still dealing with people. You're saving cost of deployment of lights or transport or whatever, but you are still dealing with people. And what people needs the most is the human touch. When I say human touch, I'm talking about human interaction. Send them thank you emails, send them appreciation emails, send them a voice note to say, hey, you're doing very well. Because if you are taking time to share a feedback per se with this individual, to say, hey, you need improvement here, there, and everywhere, take that time out to appreciate that individual as well. And I am sure it will be very, very easy for everybody out there to build this as a culture in your organization. Thank you so much once again for taking time today and watching this video. I am available for a discussion if you want to have a discussion on how to build this culture in your organization. Thank you so much once again for watching the video. Have a good day.